In this video, what we're going to do is we're going to try out some of the methods that we planned out, try just translating them into Python, and then we're going to evolve our methodology. Let's just solve the most simple case of this problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this function here on some simple cases. Print is palindrome. OTTO. I know that that's a palindrome, and so I know what it's supposed to return. I'm also going to print out non-palindrome ABC and just see that that returns the correct answer. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and just return 0 just to get my function working, just to, get it going. Okay, now I've got 2 zeros, and I know that I'm supposed to get a 0 here, or sorry, I mean a 1 here and a 0 there. Okay, so how do we do that? Well, let's try just our first method. Is the strings the same backwards as it is forwards? Now there's a couple of different ways to do this in Python. And one of the most Pythonic is with list slicing. So I'll show you how that works. Basically, strings and lists are kind of the same. They're both sequences. And so in Python, we can kind of operate on things that are sequences the same way. So you can loop over a string the same way that you loop over a list in Python. But you can also index into a string the same way that you index into a list in Python. Okay, so what I'm really asking is if the string is the same backwards as it is forwards. So if input string is the same as input string, and I'll show you list slicing. The first argument in a list slice is where to start. Second argument is where to stop. We want the length of this input string plus 1. And then the last is how much to increment by, and this is the important bit. What you want to put here is -1. And what that'll do is it'll start at the end and it'll go backwards. So it'll return to you that string, but starting at the end and going backwards, essentially reversing it in place. Now, we don't actually have to put this stuff here, because those were the default values. 0, the length of the string, plus 1, going to the end. Starting at the beginning, going to the end. That's the default in list slicing. So this input string, when written like that, should be itself backwards. So if that's the case, we want to return 1. Okay, let's run that. Let's see. What do we got here? Indentation. Unindent does not match any outer indentation level. Okay. Oh, this is too indented. There we go. Let's run that. Okay, we've got our 1 for this one, and we've got our 0 for this one. So it looks like we're done with this first batch, right? Let's run the tests. Okay, cool. So we've solved the simple case. The next problem that we're going to have to solve is cleaning white space, and we'll do that in the next video.